Most of my anxiety came from personal situations because like I was conditioned to, if my phone rings, it's probably something bad that's happening, and I gotta go prepared to deal with that. When I was chilling, like I was cool over here, I was probably, you know what I'm saying, hanging with my friends, but now it's a hysteria going on. So I think, well, I realized that's a lot of where my anxiety and overall overthinking came from, because I was always worried about preparing for the worst rather than just being content or being able to enjoy, the accomplishments or whatever might be coming my way.
Make sure y'all follow, make sure y'all like, make sure y'all comment, make sure y'all subscribe, make sure y'all share, make sure y'all tell y'all mamas, make sure you tell everybody, cousins, baby mamas, kids. I told mine. Tell them come subscribe, tell them come watch, tell them come learn something, you know what I mean? Make sure you follow all the people who are on this platform. Make sure you check out their websites, their Instagrams. Make sure you check out my website, my Instagram. All that should be below, hotheads.com. If you're interested in advertisement, if you're interested in sponsoring, if you're interested in being on the podcast, reach out. You know what I mean? You can reach out by email. You can reach out by Instagram. You can reach out on the website. However way, reach out, let me know. All right, we back at another episode of the Hot Hits Podcast. We got another special guest in. I need a better intro, but I'm not doing it right now. I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself.
What's up, guys? It's your girl, Tierra Bates, Big T, whatever you know me as, owner of Cloudy Concept Productions, host of Cloudy Conversations. Might as well plug it in now. We also got another segment dropping called Plug Me In. So pretty much you're all around CEO.
Okay, give them a little rundown of what you do.
I specialize in videography and photography. I also do like graphic design work. Okay. My main focus and passion, I would say, is videography. That's what I kind of have the eye for. Okay. But photography is fun because it still allows me to try different creative stuff, and the graphic design just helps me sharpen my edit skills with different stuff. It all helps me out in the end.
How long have you been doing
it? Officially 2 years. Second year anniversary, I believe, is coming up in June. But I would say I've been preparing my whole life to do this.
Okay. So have you always wanted to do this?
I didn't know this is what I was going to end up doing. I always knew there was something that I was going to be great at. It was just a feeling I had. And I always, watching movies, I could always tell, it was shot a certain way, or I could predict, he's about to get hit by a bus or something like that. And my friends and stuff will always think it's weird, but I'm I can just tell by the way they shot it, by the way it's framed. And I never knew, because I didn't have any, training or nothing, but I could just always tell, or, I always been able to hold a conversation with people. It's actually funny because I tell my friends this, they probably Terry always tell this story, but I swear to goodness, I met an angel. I never forget this story. I had went in the store one time. My older cousin had sent me in the store on a dummy mission to get her some cigarettes and a soda. Now, I'm 8, 9 years old at the time, so we all know I'm not securing them pack of cigarettes. Right. I know if I don't know why she's sending it, but as a kid, your cousin sent you on a mission. So I'm I'm going here. I knew I could accomplish the soda, so obviously that's the first thing that I go to do. And in the aisle, I don't know why this memory just sticks out, but in the aisle there was this lady who had this big black fur coat on. It was a white lady too, and she was just staring at the produce. She was going through the food, and I had to walk past her to get to the fountains and stuff, where they had the soda. And I only said one word to this lady. Literally, I said, "Excuse me," and she turned around with the quickness, looked me dead in my eyes, and was like, "Oh my gosh, your voice is so powerful." She pretty much just to reiterated, she pretty much just told me to never allow anyone to deter my voice or to make me small, because it's powerful. It's going to carry me to different places. And as a kid, I'm this old lady all in, I'm trying to get the soda. I'm more worried about not being able to get the cigarettes. But I never forgot that. And I always wonder why it's grown up, why that memory never left my brain. And then, of course, like I said, I always felt like God was speaking to me in different ways. And I come from a spiritual family. My great grandma was a pastor. My grandmom, she was heavily involved in the church. So I'm aware of what it means to, be in the presence of the Lord. And I remember my grandma told me this one story. She would always say, you'll never know when God comes to you, because he'll come to you in many forms, but you won't forget when he does. And I'm that's why. It was an angel. Nobody can tell me different. Nobody can tell me different why one word made that lady spin around and speak profound words on my life and not even know me.
Yeah.
So I always like, it's moments like that kind of like play in my head. It's like, see, you were building up to be where you are. Like that feeling you had inside of like something's going to happen, something great's going to come. It's like, it wasn't, you're not crazy. Like it was building up. But living in Harrisburg, my mom was a single mom. She had me and 3 other kids. It was trials and tribulations you had to go through. I know my dad, but he wasn't necessarily fully around, fully involved.
Gotcha.
So I just was never in a position to fully find my dream or push my craft because got a million and one other things to worry about. So it was a process, nonetheless.
Yeah. So we're gonna go into the journey. You left off perfectly. That's where we go. So we're gonna go into the journey. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Photography is like your number one focus, right? Photography, videography.
Yeah, that's what I push.
That's what I'm
most.
gonna say. Videography. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's number one focus. Okay. So when did you know? Like, when was the start of like, all right?
Okay, so I graduated from SciTech in 2013, and I went to IUP. I was accepted to go to IUP main campus. When I originally went there for athletic training because I love sports. So I was trying to figure out a way to stay in the sports world because I just thought that's what I was going to do. Then I started taking classes and realized this is not what I'm supposed to do. I did not know nothing about this. I remember it was an anatomy class or something like that, and they wanted us to remember like 100 bones from just the knee to the ankle in the actual medical term. I said, yeah, time for me to drop this. And I didn't necessarily know what my next major would be, so I was just talking to my friends, Morgan and Kayla, because they were like upperclassmen at IUP already, and they were telling me, Kayla was telling me about the communications and media, and I'm like, well, that sounds like something I could do. I always like, news, broadcast and stuff like that. Like I could see myself in that field. So I started to take the class and everything. But then I ended up leaving school because I couldn't afford to stay there after my sophomore year, like the 3rd or 4th semester. So when I came back to Harrisburg, of course, in 2014, I was hard on myself because prior to that, like I said, I went to math and science, then went to SciTech. And academics is something that I've always been good at. So I knew if anything else failed me, that I would be good in school. Like college was always the goal. Like there was never nothing but that as the plan. So when it fell apart, I was devastated because I'm like, I failed. Like I got this far and wait till I get to my senior year to start living life as if I didn't work this hard to get here. But I got senior year, I started to get more freedom. I started to be able to do more stuff. So I wasn't prepared to literally stay focused on remember where I came from to where I was trying to go. So when I got to school the freshman year, it was pretty much the same thing. And IUP has a reputation for being a party school, but with any college, I feel if you want to party, if you want to do that, you're going to find the avenues to do that. Absolutely. So I would still do my schoolwork, but another thing is them books was another $400 on top of tuition or whatever. So it was like I couldn't really afford to be in school, even though that's where I wanted to be. So when I failed out, came back home, literally as soon as I came back into the city, I had got a call from Burlington Coat Factory that I was going to start working there. So I felt a little bit accomplished in that because like, all right, I left school, but I got a job. But Burlington, you're not really making no money. So from there, it was just a transition from like mad jobs. At one point, I'm working like 3 jobs, like service master, DXL, like I'm just working. But when I first came home, I always had Cloudy Concepts Productions in my notes. I don't know why, but it was just always a name that I just was like, I'm gonna rock with that because I felt like I was gonna go back to school. Like I'm gonna just go home, work a little bit, get the money, pay off the debt, then go back to school. Gotcha. But then I came home and I was still pretty much not working. Like I was working, but the money wasn't going towards going back to school. It was like, as more time started past, 2017 came. That was the year I was supposed to graduate from college. I'm like, fuck, I think this shit's over. Like I don't think I'm going back. I'm working now. I'm trying to build a life here, but I'm still not happy with what I got going on. And in these times, I'm developing the idea, like Cloudy Conversations. I had that idea pretty much the same time frame. I just was not in a position to start investing in myself mentally, financially. I just was not right. So, what we say? We fast forward to probably about 2019, 2020. My friend Tajay, he had texted me randomly. we had went to IUP together. He finished and everything. Communication media, pretty much same thing, but he ended up graduating and did the program through. And at this time, I'm working at FIA, and he texted me up at work. I remember because, excuse me, I had just went on my lunch, and I looked at the message, and he said, are you happy with your life? And if you're not happy, are you pretty much doing everything in your power to, make your dreams come true? Mm-hmm. And when I answered that question, because me and him always have an honest relationship, I had to tell him, no, I was not. And one thing about me is I can't feel challenged. I can't feel like played. I can't feel anything like, and it be my fault that it's not happening. Right. So when he asked me and I had to answer no, I looked at myself and felt a certain type of way, because I'm like, what the fuck? Like, not doing nothing. Mm-hmm. You got dreams, you got aspirations. Why aren't you pushing towards them? Like, what the type time you on? So that really triggered a mass YouTube search of just start learning about cameras, what I need to start the business, laptop investments. And nobody knew the pandemic was coming, but that ended up being the biggest blessing for me, because I was working at FIA, but then we ended up getting sent home. So now I'm at home working. Then they start giving us money. Them stimulus checks literally invested into my business. That first $1,200 they gave me, bought my camera and bought my laptop. And my mom, I can't lie, she invested in my lighting setup. So once that money came in, I literally told myself, this is my chance. I never was in a position to accumulate, even if it was $1,200, just $1,200, just invest in some shit. Like, that would have to go towards some bills. So I had free money. This was my chance. I'm like, this is the Lord. He's telling me, like, push to it. So I started investing it. I made statuses telling people what my plans and goals was. The response was support. I'm like, okay, so people going to rock with me. Like, people I don't even know is going to hit me up. Like, so pretty much the time for that was just building the camera and everything start coming in. But I still didn't really know nothing about how to work it. Like, I'm just picking it up. Like, we going, start going. Yeah. My mom was like one of my first clients. I had people, like I said, didn't know, hitting me up, and that created a certain type of pressure for me, because like I said, I can't be challenged and not arise to it, because then I'm going to start feeling the way about myself. Yeah. And I'm not taking people's money just to take your money. Because I don't like giving my money to people, and I don't feel like it's being valued. So one, knew that I had skills that I still want to develop, but I didn't want to cheat people out of their money. Yeah. So I was nervous with that, but I started, turning the photos over, doing that. People like them. I'm like, no, don't tell me you like them because you want me to keep trying. Tell me if this is whack, or tell me if this is good. And like, no, I would really tell you if it was whack. So that started helping me build my confidence and things like that. But I wouldn't say it was until probably like this year, 2022, that I got to a point where I was comfortable speaking who I am out into the world. Because before that, I wouldn't say timid or shy, but I wasn't confident in speaking my truths. Right. I wasn't confident in saying why I feel like I'm going to be the best, or why you should pay attention to what I got going on. Because I'm never a person who brags and boasts. I'm pretty well reserved, if anything, but I know that when I start talking to people, I can make an impact on them. So now my focus is to take myself out of that anxiety written stage, and to be pretty much at peace with what I know is for me, because it's been written and there's been so many signs to show me that I'm on the right path, that there's no point for me to continue to dwell in that sense of paranoia, sense of anxiety, because even if I do fail, I can still say I did. Right. So that's pretty much where my focus and everything is at as of now with the business. It just pushing the brand, fine-tuning it, learning all I need to know as far as taxes, bank accounts, literally putting myself in a position to be that Fortune 500 company. Everything that I envision and feel like I can accomplish, I know I have to do the groundwork now in order to not fumble the ball when it comes, because it's going to come. It's inevitable.
Yeah, okay. So when was your first experience of, what was your first shoot? Like, what was that like?
My first shoot with someone who wasn't my family was with a client named Monique Dock, and shout out to her. She had hit me up to do like a birthday shoot, and it's crazy because she picked like the highest package. But like, we do 3 different looks, 3 different scenes. I'm like, whoa, lady, like this. I'm nervous. So I'm like, I'm happy that you feel that much trusted me to do it, but I'm scared because it's like at this time I was still living at home with my mom, so I'm the photo shoots in her basement. Like I'm literally using all my resources to my ability because, like I said, the 1,200 invested straight into the equipment, and now I need to start accumulating some money to start building up. So
this was 2022.
This was 2020. Yeah, 2020. Right in the middle of the pandemic, summertime, June 2020. Did her photos. Sent them over. She loved them. It was great, and it was actually dope because she has a sister who passed away, R.I.P. And her mom was there. And every year they like to do a type of photo shoot with the family where they have like either them holding her picture or portrait. So I also got to help commemorate that time. Made a good impression on her mom to the point that they recommended me to her sister. So it was like it locked me in with knowing that I can, converse and be with different people that I don't know and create a good impression on them, and then it's going to lead them to further and further clients because they could have liked me, but if they didn't like my work and stuff, she's a good person, but we might about to recommend you to keep spending money there. We hope you get better, but so it was like situations like that with the clients constantly like reinforcing that they're pleased with the work that made me feel successful.
Right. So at that time, were you confident?
I would say I was confident because I knew what I could accomplish, but I wasn't secure because I didn't have the 100% knowledge that I felt I needed to be at my best. Like I could solve any problem that came about, but I knew there was problems that were going to come about because I didn't know what the heck I was doing for real. So it's like I could make the end product look great, but what I might have had to go through to get there, I could have avoided had I had the proper knowledge beforehand.
Right. So what was the point where you got the confidence to start speaking up? What happened? What was that moment?
That moment was really looking at myself in the mirror. Like I'm my biggest critic, my biggest competition. I don't even look at other people. Like for a while I didn't even follow other creatives in the city because I didn't want to be influenced by what they were doing. Not because I'm hating or nothing like that, but it's when you're a creative, it's very easy to see something you like and not know that you're about to internalize it and then you're reproducing it in a different way. And with me still trying to find myself, I didn't want to take that risk of stepping on somebody else's toes, not knowing I'm doing it, or just not even giving myself the opportunity to see what my visions was like. So, I'm sorry, what was the question?
When did you find your voice?
Oh yeah, when I found my voice, pretty much it was like I said, it was pretty much all come into line within these last few months. Like I could always speak up for myself. Like that's never been a problem. Like if it came down to it, I could. But I was never confident or like stating my price and feeling like, oh, it's not too high, it's not too low, or running the client off because I want the work so bad that I'll just pretty much lowball the fuck out of myself to hope you do it. So now I'm getting to the point where it's like I feel like I have enough work out there to show and establish why I may have upped my prices or why I'm demanding this now or why you got to pay a 50% deposit. Now I don't feel as nervous to state that. It's like either you rocking with it or you're not, because either way it goes, like I'm not about to continue to compromise myself. Pretty much keep taking losses on the chin is what made me realize, listen, you either going to keep being the person who feels that type of way at the end of the day, or you going to step up and be confident in what it is, and if you lose a client or 2 or 3, you're going to gain 4 or 5 over here. So it's a niche for me somewhere.
Absolutely. So along the journey, it's been about 2-year journey?
Yeah, 2-year journey.
So along the 2-year journey, what are some like pivotal moments or obstacles you've come across? Things you were not prepared for.
That's a good question. Most of my obstacles come from personal life. It has nothing to do with my business. I have to balance family issues. Like I have a lot of siblings. Just from like my dad's side, he got like 15 plus kids, and then my mom, she has 3. Yeah, we don't know the exact number, so we just estimate it.
What's your dad's last name?
Bates.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say pretty much if they are Bates, then more than likely my sibling or cousin. But So I have a lot of siblings on that side, but I grew up mostly with my mom, who has my younger brother and younger sister. Now, like you said, similar to your situation, your mom was working a lot. She was provider, so it fall in line, me being the oldest, I'm the next person to be looked to for guidance. Right. And my brother and sister, like, they've grown a lot as people, but they had their own trials and tribulations they were fighting as kids and young adolescents and growing up. So it was just a lot to balance dealing with that. And now they like I said, they've gotten a lot better, but now my sister, she just had a baby, so it's like she's 22, so it's not like she's young, but she's a young mom. I don't got kids, but I know it's a responsibility. So now I'm there helping her, mold her motherhood in addition to my mom and stuff. My brother, he was in the streets a lot, got into a lot of trouble, in and out of jail. It wasn't until these last 2 or 3 years that he slowed down and stopped being such at risk, because it's like I developed this. Most of my anxiety came from personal situations, because like I was conditioned to, if my phone rings, it's probably something bad that's happening, and I gotta go prepare to deal with that. When I was chilling, like I was cool over here, I was probably, hanging with my friends, but now it's a hysteria going on. So I think I realized that's a lot of where my anxiety and overall overthinking came from, because I was always worried about preparing for the worst rather than just being content or being able to enjoy, the accomplishments or whatever might be coming my way. So that's kind of been one of the biggest reliefs. And also for me personally, like I love my family, but I now know what it means to create boundaries. Like your problems are not now becoming my problems. I'm not internalizing your stresses. Like I can be here to let you vent and help you in any way I can, but those problems do now not consume me. I don't become stressed out as if I gotta solve this for you. So that making that biggest distinction between just creating boundaries with family, friends, whatever the situation may be, has helped me tremendously, mentally, physically, emotionally, be able to accept what I got going on and push more energy into that.
Gotcha. We're gonna get more into the personal in a second. Do you have goals for this year? Do you have any goals for the business this year? Any targets?
I wouldn't necessarily put them as goals, because I think I check my goals off every day, but I just continue to push forward. When I get to the end of this year, what I want to look back on is to be able to say that I wasn't at the same point that I started. I've developed my editing skills better. The show that I started is taking off. I kept that going. Pretty much just staying consistent and building upon what I've already created and not decreasing. Because that's when I'll start to feel like I'm failing or I'm not doing. Because I know that it's going to be a couple year process for me to end up eventually where I went. Yeah. So as long as I'm continue to keep pushing towards that goal, I'll always feel like I'm doing something. Even if that's just me buying a new camera or a new lens, something that's going to help me get there is always a goal checked off. As long as I'm pushing towards it, then I'm working.
Absolutely. What do you think is the best and the worst part of your field of work?
The best part is the creativity, the ability to be free. For me, I love being able to take what I'm seeing in my head and put it into a visual aspect, and other people to look at it and see, I see what you did there. When people say, I see what you did, or I can tell where you were going with that, that's where I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I know I was thinking some dope shit. So that's the biggest part, the most rewarding for me. The hardest part is, I wouldn't necessarily say rejection, but not being appreciated or respected for what you do and what you bring to the table. Because, like I said, I know who I am. I have confidence in myself, and it's not just because you're supposed to. Like, I really believe and know for a fact I can accomplish and do anything I put my mind to. But making the next person believe or having them doubt me, I'd be like, ooh, it motivates me. But it's like, you don't even know what you just did. Like, you missed out on so much, because I'm never going to forget it. Like, I don't hold grudges or nothing, but I don't forget when somebody made me feel away neither. And I ain't going to say it's going to make me not work with you in the future, but I might tell you, that time you didn't work with me, that probably kind of led me to here. Like, your negativity pushed me, so thank you. Like,
yeah. As far as like getting it moving, have you been getting the results that you wanted? It's only been what, like
2 years, but I feel like I've made a lot of growth in those 2 years because when I first started, like I said, I didn't know nothing about like shutter speeds, ISOs, anything how that worked. I didn't even know how I was using auto. Like I felt bad because I felt like God, he'll tell you, he'll tell you so many things like on Instagram. You know how they show you like reels and stuff that's related to like what you do. So I kept seeing this fucking one reel that kept saying when they say they're a photographer, but they put their camera in auto. I'm like, oh, they're trying to come for me. They is coming for me. And I kept seeing that. I'm like, all right, I get it, God. Like, I need to go learn how to work my camera more. So when I started investing in that, I'm like, all right, now you can't say that I'm the auto photographer no more.
I am the auto photographer. I'm not a photographer, but that joint on auto every time.
That's what I'm telling you. And it's like it still look good. And then you put it in there, you're like, oh, I see how it's like I could manipulate that and make it look a lot more crispier. So now I'm a manual type of girl. I understand the full aspects of the camera. That makes me feel happy.
That's good.
Overall, it's just a up and down process for real for me because, like I said, I don't know 100% what I'm supposed to know, but I have an idea where it's supposed to go. So I spend a lot of time on like YouTube looking for like just trusted sources of information. Like one person I like to listen to a lot is this guy called YC Imaging. Okay. He gives out a lot of good game, and not just more so about the actual video production side, but he gives you the behind the scenes, and that's what I need. I can look at something and see it, but I need you to break it down and tell me why this is that. And then you probably want to tell me again because I didn't receive the information. So when people can give out that type of information to help the creator, that's the ones I value the most because I don't want you to influence what I'm trying to do creatively. I want you to mold what I need to do as far as technically, business-wise, so that way when I go to do my thing, all that is so clean and taken care of that it's a flawless process.
Right. All right, so we just did my interview, right? She just did mine.
Yeah, we did.
And I gotta say this on my platform. She dope. You know what I mean? Dope interviewing skills. Dope transitioning, the setup, you know, everything was dope. So my question to that is, how did you develop that?
I told you, it's just natural. Like, it's one of them things that I've been blessed with. I've always been good at being able to talk to people. I can look at things and tell what it is visually pleasing, but I never knew why I had those traits. Like, I'm like, bro, why would I look at something like, yo, that'd be dope for a movie? Like, I just never knew why I could see it like that. So when I started sitting down and thinking about myself as a whole person and what I'm good at, I'm like, well, I can talk to people. No wonder why that would transition into me wanting to host something or me communicate with people. I'm interested in learning. Like, when talking to somebody is a form of learning to me. Right. So if I can ask you questions that's going to spark more of a conversation for you to give out more game, that's going to make me even more happier. Absolutely. So it's like, of course, I watch like The Breakfast Club a lot. I watch Wallow and Gilly. I try to keep it minimum to who I'm watching because, like I said, I don't want to be influenced too much about other people's styles, but I know that there's certain things that you need to do. Like with The Breakfast Club, I watch them because that's 3 different perspectives, and they're all 3 different personalities. And I take something from each of them. Like Andrew Lee, you can tell she's the one who's going to keep the energy nice and balanced, keep it on a nice side. Charlamagne, we know he's the wildfire craft. We don't know what he's going to get. And then DJ Envy, I feel like he's a balance of sometimes he might be on that bullshit. Sometimes he's going to keep it like Angel Lee. So I'm like, I take something from all that. And like I was saying, like, if I'm watching the interview, if I'm watching anything and it makes me smile at the TV, then I know they did something right. Because I'm so fully engaged that I'm happy that what I'm watching. I'm in the conversation. So that's pretty much what I strive to do in the Cloudy Conversations, is literally for us to have a conversation that's painting a full picture of you without you even know that you're doing it. You're just enjoying the conversation so much. It's like, oh, like you say, you got me talking, you got me thinking. Like, yeah, like, tell me what you thinking about. Absolutely. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, that's dope. You should have like a talk show, like.
And that's why I wanted to do it. That's why, because I had Cloudy Conversations since Cloudy Concept started, but I kept telling myself, no, don't drop it yet, because you want to be on camera. You want to have like a little flower. You want to try to Oprah this, because that's funny, because Oprah was one of my favorite people growing up. Like, I respected Oprah so much. I think it's kind of my grandma's fault, because I used to watch a lot of like daytime TV with your grandma soaps and stuff. So it's like, I used to look at Oprah like, yo, she's the coldest, because She owned the whole production studio. She was the boss, and she was making money. And it wasn't necessarily about the money that attracted me. I just liked the fact that she was running it.
Right.
And it was hers, and couldn't nobody take it from her.
Right.
And she could literally go on there today and say, I'm going to say F this, F that, and we'll still be here tomorrow because you can't fire me. That's what I like the most. So it's like, as I get older, like I said, things start to trigger in my mind that keeps reiterating, that's why that happened. That's why you were attracted to that. It all plays a role. And I don't think I ever would have became self-aware as I am if I never started the business. Because it forced me to, one, have to humble myself. Because in school, I could take constructive criticism, but that shit would hurt my feelings. like I would probably cry. Like the teacher said, well, you wrote really well, but you got a B. Like, bitch, what? You said it was well. Like, why is this a B? I don't understand. Grammatical errors. Think about the context. What am I saying to you? Like, I need this A. But I knew that when I'm working with people, especially when they're paying me money, I have to be able to take that. So I had to sit down like, well, why can't you take constructive criticism? What is it about yourself that makes you feel like somebody can't say that to you? And I realized it was all just it's a fear thing. I was just afraid of failure. I was afraid of people not accepting me, afraid of not being who I envisioned myself being. And then I had to realize that fear is what's been holding me back the whole time.
Talking that TikTok, you talking spicy.
Because when I stopped being afraid and I started putting myself out there and I got the responses that I hoped that I would get, I'm like, see, I could have been started this shit if I didn't start talking myself out of it or overthinking or thinking that nobody was going to like it or nobody was going to respect me or I don't have enough of a clout in the city for people to want to be a part of my platform. And it's like, all that was just ways, and all that was the devil's ways of getting to my mind.
There it is.
That's exactly what that is, because he's going to play on everything he knows to keep me from going to my next level. When I realize that who I am, who I think I am, that's when I feel like the most realistic trials and tribulations came in. And it wasn't like the outly sources, it was within myself.
Ooh, she talking.
Like, and it's crazy. Like, I'm 27, but I'm telling you, I've lived enough life to know when to pay attention and when to take heed to something. I started battling with myself the most when I decided to pursue this business.
I hope y'all heard that.
And then when those battles started to arise, I was present enough to know why they were coming. Because I was going towards finally what was for me. I was finally on the path that God had set for my life. And when you are on those types of paths, you can expect the most craziest battles to come your way. To see if one, it's a combination of the devil trying to deter you as well as the Lord trying to prepare and see if you're ready for those blessings. To see, because we can work a million times as hard as we want, but until God knows and He sees that what He's going to give us, we're going to value and actually do what we're supposed to, we're going to keep going through the same shit. It's a never-ending cycle until you realize, you wake up and see that you are the one person who controls everything that's happening around you. And when I took control of myself, my destiny, my mind, I can talk like this now and not sweat. I can talk like this and not feel like I'm bashing other people or I'm being too bold. No, we are who we think we are. And the moment that we speak it, you will be it. The moment you accept yourself and everything you feel about yourself, of course there's bad things, but when you accept them good things just as much as you accept them bad things, your perspective on yourself will change.
That was important right there. That was
I'm telling you.
Accept the good things just as much as you accept the bad things. Because people don't do that.
We beat ourselves up so much.
Oh my goodness. I am a victim of that as well. You know what I mean? You sit down and you look at all the negatives and you don't pay attention. You never pay as much attention to the positives.
And half the time, the positives outweigh them negatives.
All the way.
You just focused on that failure or something that didn't go right to the point you're missing the whole bigger picture. You had to fail. And half the time, the stuff that you wanted, you never even needed in your life. And you continue to fight for it. That goes for relationships. That goes for jobs. When you're not supposed to have something and you are trying your worldliest, hardest to hold on to that, everything's going to go into chaos. Everything. Until you realize that once you let that go and you focus on yourself or whatever the Lord's trying to put in your life, your mind's just going to change, I'm telling you. I'll be so thankful for the trials and tribulations that I went through growing up, because if I never went through those experiences, I know for a fact I wouldn't be able to be doing what I'm doing right now. I wouldn't have the confidence. I wouldn't have the determination. I wouldn't be able to be as resilient as I am. Because I wouldn't have went through nothing. Everything would have been easy.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know what a hardship was.
That's it.
I be making studies all the time, and I'm proud of myself because I know what I overcame. I don't even have to go into details. It don't even have to be the most traumatic of experiences. I just look back on what the fuck growing up was like and where I'm at now. Like, bro, that's not this. That's if we was going off statistics, I'm supposed to have kids by now.
Right.
I probably wouldn't have finished high school.
Right.
I'd have been working on a minimum wage job. None of them things can apply to my life. And not saying that if you fell within those traps that you're looked down upon, because it's the cycle of life, and most of us are going to fall within that. But you can still find your way out of it. Is the point I'm making. Yeah. It's always a way out of it once you realize who you are.
Man, I made this post on Facebook the day before yesterday, right? I said, or it might have been yesterday. It was yesterday, matter of fact. I said the devil is a strategist. I said, yo, he'll put you against yourself and you don't even know it.
Don't even know it.
You in there mad at everything, and it's like, dude, he just strategized the way for you to stop your own self. He's not stopping you. He's just oh man.
He's just allowing you, because I think people don't realize, and when I speak on God, I know we have different forms of religion. Whoever you deem to as a higher power energy out there, He's within you. When they say, I am God, I am myself, that's because we literally are a representation of Him. He died for our sins. So we literally can do any motherfucking thing, like you said. But the devil is here to deter us from getting to our true selves, because if we get there, then he doesn't have any playing ground. He doesn't have anywhere to continue to cause chaos. Because if we are being the gods that we are, life is harmonized. We're living in peace.
Oh man, that's it, yo. And it's all. I remember something. I always remember this from the Bible. It says, you know, we're not tempted by anything on the outside. We're tempted by our own sins, by our own selves. It's us, whatever's inside us. It's not things on the outside that's causing us to fall and do this. It's the things inside us. The one thing I understood, man, in my early 20s was when I got that understanding that, okay, this nigga's going to do everything he can to use me against me. He's going to put exactly what I want in front of me. He's going to give me what I... Go ahead and take that. But you know, if you take that thing, you just now lost all this other stuff.
They don't tell you the fine print of the
contract. You take it.
Go ahead.
You take it. You go ahead. Like for me, like it was always girls. It was like, go ahead, bro. You can have her. You go ahead. But soon as I touch her, I just knocked off 10 years of my life. I just knocked off everything I had working towards myself. When people think everything is just so what's the word I want to use? It's like everything's physical. Like some things are not physical.
It's spiritual.
You can't see it happening, but it just happened to you just because you touched the fruit bowl. You shouldn't even touch that joint. Don't touch that joint.
And that's why I think, like, it's crazy because my hairdresser, every time I go get my hair done with her, we end up having some type of crazy type of psychological conversation. And we were just talking about the last time. I was just like in the world, if people could be as open to, like, we know there was Mayan civilization, all types of stuff. They done build pyramids and stuff way before we had Wi-Fi and all this other stuff. Yeah. How the hell did they do that? Yeah. How did they have babies on all that before we had technology? Yeah. I've been thinking like technology is a play or another form to keep us from touching into that spiritual side. Because if I like Doctor Strange, that movie, the first one, I actually got a tattoo from that movie. It says, we never lose our demons, we only learn to live above them. Because that was some real shit.
That is, yo.
We don't never lose them, we just learn to live above them. But what I was saying is, in that movie, they talk about how they tap into the energy of the world and this and that there. And if anybody who's aware of that or has felt a sense of energy that isn't physical, you believe it. So in my mind, I'm like, there ain't no way that they came up with stories of giants and mystical gods and stuff, and it ain't from somewhere true. Exactly. Everything that we think is created by something we seen. It's just no way. And I think technology and stuff has been put into place to keep us from being able to tap into them energies, tap into those spirits, more particularly Black people. But I don't want to get too deep into that.
All right. It's going to be a whole nother hour.
That's a whole nother because I'm telling you, we gotta.
You already got me talking on some spiritual stuff. I don't even bring that out on here, but man.
I mean, I got to give him the praise every time. Because when people ask me, why I'm here, that's literally the only answer I can provide, because I didn't know for a long time what I was here to do. But I always had a relationship with God, always felt him in me, and I always heard that voice of just hold on, just stay good, just be patient, just keep fighting. And I know that I'm where I'm at now is when I was younger, it's where I wanted to be, like, just be at peace, just be happy, be able to be self-sustainable. And I accomplished that really quickly. So I know the next goals that I got, which is to be the change for my family, to be that one person who literally has created the next generations to not have to go through the same, to break those generation curses, financially, all that. Even if it's just me setting the stone for them to see, oh, this is how it can go. I'm going to be that person. I accepted that because for a long time, my family always used to say that, oh, you're going to be the one, you're going to be the one. It used to make me mad. Like, nigga, why can't you be the one? Why all this pressure got to be on me? But I realized it's just certain things that some people are meant to carry. And if they seen it in my aura from a child, that just let me know for a long time that the God has been putting into play what I'm going to do and what I'm meant to do. I just got to accept it.
Do you go through a lot of stuff because of that? Like, do you feel like life is like set up to you get them obstacles, like bro, why do I even gotta go through this? Like, and I for a long time I didn't understand why I felt like I attracted people who needed loving in a certain way, who needed to be healed in a certain way, who needed to be talked to in a certain way. Goodness.
And I'm young, but I've always attracted, whether it's in friendships, and not saying that they're not good people, but you know when you come across people who haven't been loved in a certain way. And my friendship, I never had a friend like you. I never met someone who spoke like you. I never met someone who cared like you, because I'm genuine from through and through. I don't have no room to be fake because life is so real for me that putting up a facade is just, it's unfathomable, because now that's another thing I gotta fucking think about. Like, you either gonna take me as I am, or we're not gonna mesh. But most times I'm myself and I connect with people. But like I was saying, for a long time I hated that. Like, I remember telling my grandma one time, I wish I didn't have a good heart. I wish I wasn't a good person, because the stuff that I internalized, the things that I felt like was holding me back. If I just did not care, I would be okay. But with me being able to care, and me being able to go through those things with my mom, with my parents, or with my grandma, it helped me learn so that I never had to do it myself. It sucked at the time because I wish I could have helped you, but feeling that hurt that you felt when we couldn't pay the rent and had to get evicted, that shit built character in me. To the point now, I said, my bills drop, it's paid. I know I'm not getting evicted. I know I'm gonna go to work every day and do what I gotta do, because I remember how I felt in those times I couldn't do shit about it.
Right. Ooh.
That's really, and that's why I think that's why my life is starting to move in the shift that it is, because I'm really accepting myself for who I am and what God has blessed me with. I wasn't necessarily artistic. I wasn't necessarily, able to sing, none of that. But I've always been able to connect with people and make them feel something. I've always been to articulate myself and make somebody respect me. Even as a child, I will always remember being told, oh, the way you carry yourself, and it's because I seen myself differently. I knew I was never my struggle. I knew I was never none of the stuff that I was going through. It was just my circumstances. But I knew that was never meant to be my life.
Oh, you talking.
And that's why I don't really talk to people, because I don't talk just to talk. I got shit to say. If I'm going to talk, I'm going to keep it real. Like, it's just me in general. So don't come to me if you want sugarcoated. Don't come to me if you don't want the real. Don't come to me if you can't have an in-depth conversation, because at the point in my life, I'm not gossip about nobody. I don't care about what the next person is doing. I'm literally building and investing in myself, because I realize I am the ticket.
Yeah. Ooh. You got me on fire right now.
I hope y'all are taking this in.
Man, I hope y'all you.
Because I really want my people. I really feel like once Black people feel this way about themselves, shit would be completely different for us. Because if you think about it, we've been oppressed, slaved to this day, and we still, even on the same playing field or on a higher, they can't knock us down no matter what they try. It's us holding us back. Like you said, when you had your store and people would come and see you behind that counter and walk back, bro, this should make you run in this store.
Absolutely.
Why are you walking away? Because of you intimidated by my aura? You're intimidated by my success? Me being successful does not take away anything from you. If anything, it should motivate you. ask me some questions. I'll give you the game that I didn't get. I'll tell you whatever I do know, and if I don't know, help you find it. We can go on this journey together.
Yeah.
Once we lock in as a community and literally stop depending on these outside sources to build us, we will be completely fine.
Yeah. And instead of doing that, we make it a competition. Turn it into, if I go in here, I gotta act like I know more than you. If I go in here, I gotta act like this ain't what it is.
Black people, we just are most of the negative connotations that are associated with us are just unhealed hurt, unhealed pain.
That's all.
That's been kept passed down from generation to generation because you feel less than because you don't have a certain thing. But look at your life. What makes your life valuable? You might not meant to be a store owner.
Right.
You might be supposed to be a veterinarian, but you stuck on what I got going on. That you keep missing what's here for you.
What's yours? Absolutely. Ooh.
That's why I don't pay attention to people, because that's another form of the devil's tactics. Like, oh, they got mad photo shoots this week. You ain't had one. You ain't doing shit.
Yep.
You ain't up on nothing. Yep. And then I might internalize, you right, I ain't doing. No, I am doing something. I've been editing this fucking video for weeks just because it ain't a short. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I really have to be more conscious in the good thoughts rather than the negative.
Makes sense. Perfect sense. I hope they leave with that, because I'm leaving with that personally. Be more conscious of good thoughts and not the negative thoughts. It's important to know you're negative, but don't focus
on this the negative,
because that's what's going to show more. The negative, like, it's going to be in you more. It's going to reflect more on yourself. Like, you're going to feel it more if you sit there. And
that's the energy people are going to feel off of you.
Exactly. Ooh, I like that. All right. We're going to transition over to some personal things, all right?
Okay.
Even though that was extremely personal. That was extremely personal. You beat me to it. But 3 words to describe yourself.
3 words. Humble, hardworking, God-fearing. Let's just put it like that. Okay,
I like it. Are there any quotes, sayings, or truths that you live by?
Shoot, I got a whole bunch. I'm
Let me pick which one.
I got this one quote that I came up with kind of around the same time that I started the business, and it says, live your truth so you don't live in your thoughts. Because prior to me wanting to, start the business and just anything in general, I will always be in my head instead of just speaking that and then letting whatever comes from that truth come to me.
Yeah.
Always trying to think I had to control the narrative opposed to it just going with the flow. Because
Gotcha.
I know I was putting out good energy, so good's gonna come back. Another tattoo I got, so that's from Janae Eichel's dad. He had a book called Living on Valued Energy, which is like an acronym for love. And then the quote I got from Dr. Strange, we never lose our demons, we only learn to live above them.
I wrote that down. That's a good one. I like, because something I always talk about in my household is that, like, I remember when my wife first got together and I explained to her, like, she doesn't know me for the person I was before. She knows me for the person I am now. So she doesn't quite understand. Like, I explained to her, like, just because I'm not doing X, Y, and Z doesn't mean I can't go back. Like, I'm not dumb. You know what I mean? I'm not delusional. I understand that who I am
is who I am.
It's back there. It's still there. Like, maybe you can't see it, but I know it's back there. And if I slip and then I slip again, eventually
I'm gonna be in that place.
I'm right back. And then I gotta start off. And I've done it before. It's not like I have slipped and went back. And it's hard to get back. It's hard to go back and then have to climb out of that joint. Oh, bro, I wish that on nobody. Once you get out, stay out. You know what I mean? Like, stay out. But I love that quote. Like, it says what I'm saying way better.
We don't lose our demons. We just learn to live above them. Because I'm telling you, I still had them thoughts of like, damn, like that's something I'm just keeping in the back of my mind because I'm past it. But that sometimes it still pop up.
Right.
And then I think my last quote I might have is the Tupac quote that says, I done forgot the quote. No, I didn't. Coward dies 1,000 deaths. A soldier dies but once. Because pretty much my quotes, if you haven't caught on to it, there is some type of meaning to my life in one way, shape, or form. I can't be no coward out here because then I done died a million times over. And I remember those moments of feeling cowardly, whether it's because I didn't speak up for myself or when I didn't do my best on my test when I knew I could. And any moment that made me feel less than, I didn't like that. So now I just live just like with a shield of armor, knowing that I'm going to go through stuff, but I'm only going to die one time. And when that final death comes, you're not going to remember all the failures that I got in my mind. You're going to remember the path that I blazed.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, it's so crazy, that quote. I didn't know that was a Tupac quote. When I heard you say that, Jeezy said it in the one song, "A real nigga died." I would say, "A coward died 1,000 deaths. A real nigga died for one."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Wait a minute."
I think that was Hail Mary. No, but name was Hail Mary. I forget what song that was. I think it was on America's Most Wanted album. My mom's a big Tupac fan, so that's why I be knowing shit like that.
Got you. What was a major life-changing experience like that changed you as a person?
Falling out of school. Well, not even falling out of school, not financially being able to go to school.
Gotcha.
That moment, like I said, my whole life was meant to be go to do good academically, go to college, get a degree, make some money.
Right.
So when that moment failed and I had to accept that it was my fault,
right.
Of course it could have been helpful if I had financial help and all that, but there was a million and one ways I probably could have prevented that. If I would have went to my professor and said, listen, I can't afford this book. Do you do offer study groups? If I had found the study groups in class, like, listen, can I borrow the book this week because you did your assignment? Or there could have been a million and one ways that I prevented that from happening, but I didn't.
Right. Oh man, that's good. At this point in your life, what's something you're currently working on within?
Pretty much what I'm on now is to speak my truth and not feel apologetic if the next person felt maybe, not say belittled, but if they felt the way about it. I'm not speaking my truth to down anyone. I'm speaking my truth to uplift myself and hopefully to instill motivation in those who might be struggling but can't find the words to say it. Because I know a lot of us go through the moments where we're feeling down or just life gets to us and we don't know how to vocalize that. Right. So if I continue to just keep reiterating, yo, it gets better, yo, just keep fighting, yo, just don't give up, even if you fail, take that as a lesson and keep going, then I feel like I'm doing something. Because before, I swear, like, I feel like a little corny sometimes, because I remember, like, watching videos of people who, like, were living in their purpose or who are happy with what they got going and them being so positive, like, no, it's really, like, you just got to believe in yourself. I'm like, nigga, you can say that. But now that I'm here, I'm like, yo, it really is me. Like, it really is all based on me and loving myself and believing in myself and not allowing others to paint the picture of who I know I am. Because that also happens when you start listening to people, oh, well, girl, you know you ain't like that, or, nah, that ain't really you. Then you might, well, maybe that ain't. They done know me for this. No, you don't know me. I'm allowed to change my name, subscribe myself to a different identity. I can do whatever I want to do. My name now, what it say on my chain? Big T. That's what y'all address me as, because that's what I said to myself one day. I'm Big T. Like, everything about me besides literally my height is big. Like, I got big energy, big brains. I'm just big. I got a lot of big dreams and aspirations. So in order for me to fulfill them things, I got to believe in it first.
Yeah. Amazing. What do you do for peace?
For peace, honestly, I like isolation.
Okay.
I do well with dealing with people, but since I'm so big on energies and I have a lot of stuff that I need to focus on now, in these last 2 years, I've been creating a lot of boundaries. Like, my friends might hit me and say, let's go out. I can't. I got this video that I'm working on. Oh, well, what are you doing this week? I got bookings. I can't link up. And not because I don't want to link with you guys, but I feel happy with being able to say that and then not feel guilty or feel like I'm missing out on stuff. Because before, oh no, I'm trying to be outside. But now that I found something that I can literally find joy of sitting at that computer for 6-7 hours and editing a video and then export it and it being loved, that's my piece.
Right.
Like, when I create one thing is I did a commercial when I first started for this furniture company, TNT Mattress. They're local in Harrisburg. They're about to relocate, but they're currently on 7th Street. Okay. Shout out to Tony, because I didn't know him.
Is that up towards the Uptown Plaza?
Yeah, it's actually across the street from the post office.
Got you, yep.
I didn't know him, but he was another person who, when I made this post about what I was doing, he made me, I need you to do a commercial for me. And I'm like, people say stuff. So. Right. But he really had me do a commercial for him. And then I still to this day have not seen this commercial on TV, but my grandparents have seen it. My friends have seen it. So when they were like, "Yo, T, I see your commercial on TV," I'm like, "Yo, for real? Like, I was just in my computer, that was in my brain, and now y'all seeing it on TV." So those moments was like, that's what I was like. I know if I ever see it on TV, I'm gonna go crazy. If I'm in a restaurant, I'm like, "Yo, somebody, I did that, yo. I need one, pick me up." Like,
yeah.
So that's kind of like one of the high points for me. It just the feedback and the love that I get.
Yeah.
But really probably when my grandparents seen that commercial, because my grandma, like, she raised me and she played a major role in my life, and then she had a stroke probably my 11th grade year, and it kind of not changed our relationship, but changed her ability to be as involved. So when I'm telling her what I'm doing, it helps to paint a picture for her to see, like, "Yo, grandma, that's really my commercial. Remember I was telling you about it?" And she called me, "I seen it on TV." Wow. So that really gave me another boost of confidence behind that.
Yeah, that's dope. So we're going to get ready to close out. Going to get to those. Is there any advice, I'm sure you have some, that you would give to either entrepreneurs or just women, men coming up in this world? Like, any advice you would give them on their journey?
My first set of advice is to do the self-work, whether that's within being able to take constructive criticism, being able to reach out to other people, making yourself network, whatever you feel you lack that's going to affect your business, address that first, because you are the business. You are most times the only worker, the only person, the only type of representation. So if you're not together, the business is going to suffer. The second sense of advice would be to not take too much advice from people, because they can help guide you, but sometimes it can mislead you or help you make you start questioning yourself.
Right.
So do the self-work, be cautious in the advice that you do seek and take. And 3, just be okay with failing and knowing that it's not necessarily a failure, but a lesson for you to do better next time. Because I can tell you, for every production that I've done, especially music video, I can go and tell you what I've done wrong and then show you the next video how I didn't make that same mistake again. Like, so it's a process. I remember watching YouTube videos and not knowing what the heck they was talking about with frames per second. Now I can bust it out like I'm just a regular old videographer. So it's like, it's a process, but just believe in yourself overall. Be humble, be patient, and just continue to push forward despite what those around you might be saying.
Awesome. Where can you be found?
All right. So for my personal page, Instagram, Twitter, T_on_the_concept. Business page, Facebook and Instagram, Cloudy Concepts Productions, as well as on YouTube. That's where you will find our Cloudy Conversation segment, as well as the soon-to-come Plug Me In segment. Pretty much anything with the business is all Cloudy Conversations Productions. Facebook, Tiarra Bates. Probably won't add you, so don't add me on there. But other than that, yeah, just reach out to me on social media through personal or business pages if you want to get some work done, if you want to interview, or if you just want to connect and just pick my brain. I'm open for any type of interaction with the community in the Harrisburg area and in the world, so get with me.
Yeah, I appreciate you being on here. You talk that talk.
No, I appreciate you.
You talk that talk. Listen, you talk that talk for real. I don't typically take something from interviews, honestly, podcasts. I typically don't, but I took something today. Yeah. And I'm gonna go think. I'm gonna go think on that a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go think on the positivity note, and some things we know, but then it takes somebody to say something for you to really put it into work.
And that's what I'm here for. I appreciate the opportunity. Most times I am behind the camera. I don't really like to be too much in front of it. But when I do get the opportunity to come on podcasts and interviews and really speak my mind, I appreciate that, because I got a lot to say, but I don't just necessarily volunteer my information unless asked. So this was a perfect platform for people to kind of get to know the person, me behind my brand, and what I got going on, and kind of just get to know me better, because I don't really put myself out there. Like, people might see me post pictures of me dressing nice and stuff like that, but that's just I'm not going to say a persona, but that's just a certain aspect of me. To get to know Tierra, you got to have a conversation with me, like a real one.
All right, I was about to say something, but I'm going to say it after we go to the camera. All right, look, I appreciate y'all watching. Comment, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Make sure you follow her. Make sure you check her out. Make sure you book them appointments. Get your video shooting. Get your interview in. Get all that. Whatever it is. Get
Whatever
it in.
you need. Hit us up.
Hit us up. So get it in. All right, we out of here.